My view is that you go to school to get a job. Sure, you might learn a thing or two in school that'll help you get new work, but the majority of the time you just need a degree or diploma to even be considered for a job. Now, once you have that degree or diploma, employers generally look for work experience in an area to see whether you're a good fit for a position. Now, one of the best ways to acquire work experience when you're in school is through attending or participating in co-op programs. Now listen to me closely. Do everything you can when you're in school to get into co-op and to excel when you're on those co-op placements, because co-ops are the number one way that you can secure employment after school, at least in my opinion. Got it? I make that believable? Did I give it the professor's stamp of approval? Okay, good. Now we get to talk about the real stuff. All right. While co-ops are sold to be excellent opportunities to give you work experience, network with employers, and actually build those relationships that will help you gain employment after school, there's a lot of fine print that universities don't tell you about co-ops, such as, well, what does co-op even stand for? I don't know. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing some important things that you should know about co-op that people generally don't talk about to ensure that you can maximize your co-op work experience. Hey guys, I'm Mike. I'm an organizational behavior professor at the Ted Rogers School of Management. In weekly videos, I share my student and professor experiences to give insights to students to help them better manage their university life. I generally don't talk about topics learned in the classroom, but learn the hard way throughout university. So if you are in uni or will be soon, hit subscribe, smash the like, make sure the notification tab is on, and check out my weekly videos. In this week's video, I'll be talking about co-op and what people generally don't talk about co-op. Now, I have to say that this week's video is based on my experiences as a student who went through co-op, as well as a professor who hires co-op students. Now, I have to say that my list is not comprehensive, so if you had other experiences or want to share other tips to students, please include them in the comments below. So the first thing I want to mention is that you are paying to be in the co-op program. Yes, that's right. You are paying for the opportunity to make money. Now, the amount you are paying can vary by program, it can vary by institution, and it generally isn't a lot of money, but it still hurts because you are paying to make money. Well, I guess it takes money to make money. Typically, this fee goes towards the administration, and I get that there's a lot of people working behind the scenes to run a co-op program, but it still hurts. And this co-op fee is paid on a per term basis every term you are in co-op. Now, the worst part of it all is that there's generally no way to waive the admin fee. Almost no way. So now that you're in the co-op program, you might think that your employment is secure. Nah, not so fast. There is actually no guarantee that you're gonna find a job even if you're in co-op. Now, I get this could be a little crushing, and it makes me feel horrible about those students who care, try, go out of their way, prep for the interview as much as they can, and they still don't get placed. It crushes me. However, for those students who are muppets, and they go out the night before an interview to go play a round of pub golf, it was my 19th birthday. I feel nothing for you. At least I won. Most schools will offer statistics related to the proportion of their co-op program that actually finds work. Now, this information is very helpful because it gives you some indication of your likelihood of finding a job. And remember that admin fee I was telling you about? Well, most schools will not waive the admin fee even if you don't find a job. But fortunately, the nice ones will. One thing that you should keep in mind is that you don't actually need to use the co-op portal in order to find a co-op job. Most schools offering co-op programs also will give you a virtual or online portal to help you find a job. Now, in most cases, these portals are great, and I know I use mine every single time because they give you a nice tool to help you see what employers are hiring and see what the qualifications that they have that they're looking for in job candidates, you. Okay? So in most cases, every one of you will be using a co-op portal, and I recommend you look there first. However, I've had students in the past that couldn't find the type of work that they're interested in on these portals. These students actually preferred working in industries that were not well represented for the general population. And what type of industries are you referring to? Bow chicka bow wow. Specifically, they were interested in working in fishing, forestry, and they couldn't find a job of that nature on the portal. So what they did is they found work on their own outside of the portal and then ended up applying to the university to have that deemed acceptable as a co-op placement, and they got it in. So the important thing to remember here is that in most cases, you don't need to use the co-op portal in order to find a co-op job. If you can find a job outside on your own, you might be able to apply that as your co-op placement. But just don't expect your part-time job as a barista or a cashier to fit the mold for a co-op placement. Now, this is a big one. To return or not to return is the question. See what I did there? Now, I wish this was a straightforward answer, but it can be a little bit strategic. So, returning to the same work placement term over term allows you to get a close relationship with the manager and the team and demonstrates your interest in a particular area. However, going to different work placements allows you to get exposure to different industries, organizations, and managers. My general advice is that you go to a variety of different locations and then return to your favorite for your final co-op placement. So this is great because it'll give you exposure to a variety of different ways and work, so you can actually figure out what type of work you like best, but then it also signals to the manager that you want to consider this option as a full-time place. One word of caution I really want to stress against is picking the co-op placement that pays the most. I know money's important, but earning $1 or $2 an hour more for 2 or 3 work terms is not going to make you rich. It's much smarter from a long-term perspective to figure out the type of work you actually enjoy doing that you can excel at, and then you go from there. All right, another thing we should probably be talking about when it comes to co-op is the type of work you'll actually be doing. Now, if you look at job ads online, it might sound like you're going to be doing some really interesting or super exciting work when you're on co-op. And I have to admit that the people who write these job ads are a bit of an artist. They can make any job, any task seem incredibly exciting. However, in reality, you should probably lower your expectations. Most co-ops are actually administrative in nature. Admin a what? Excuse you. You should be thinking note-taking, printing, copying documents, or editing slides, things along those lines. But don't be discouraged. I know I was, but try not to be. I remember when I was in my co-op, I thought I would become an expert in a particular area or work on high-profile projects during my 4-month co-op. But that, in hindsight, that was a little ridiculous. Some people spend their entire lives learning about a topic and still don't become an expert, or they don't even get the opportunity to work on these high-profile projects. And they spend a lifetime. How can I expect that I'm going to be doing this in 4 months? So my expectations were a little out of fit from reality. Instead, you should be viewing your co-op as relationship building opportunities. Try to do everything you can to make your manager happy. Go to your way to make your manager look good so that in return, you can draw on your manager for additional work, additional opportunities, a future work placement, or even to be introduced to somebody in their network. So again, view co-ops as relationship building rather than expertise refining. So the last thing I want to talk about is how long you're actually going to be working with these organizations. Most co-op programs have finite length in terms of work programs. So you're typically going to be working either 4 months, 8 months, or 12 months on a work placement. However, some organizations will encourage their students to work part-time when in school. So you'll have your 4-month co-op, but then you can also roll that over into part-time work during the school year. So if this is attractive to you, ask your manager when you're working for them whether this is an option, or even during an interview, frankly, you should be asking your potential employer whether this is a possibility in their organization. All right, guys, that's it. That is what people don't tell you, but is important to know about co-op. If you found this helpful and want to learn more tips on how to better manage your university life, hit subscribe, smash the like, make sure the notification tab is on, and check out my videos next week. Until then.